Rainbow Six Extraction was released on Game Pass Day 1, January 19th, 2022. We were looking forward to this one to fill the gap that Outbreak used to fill, but Ubisoft seemed to be trying to clean their hands of this game before it even came out. Regardless, we're still here to let you know if this is worth your time. Of all the co-op shooters around at the moment, Extraction is by far trying to be the most tactical. Missions will have you sneaking around the enemy and dispatching them with teamwork lest you get overrun. I actually like this change of pace. Even playing with randoms was great because everyone is hyper focused on working as a team and maintaining stealth. When action gets high, teamwork is emphasized even more as you die very quickly if you get cornered. Each zone has 3 maps, and you'll load into one to complete 3 objectives. These objectives are simple enough: kill a high value target, defend an area, secure an operator, etc. You have to work with your team to locate the objective in each zone, and it creates a nice pacing of tactical stealth to high action. I particularly love how they tie the MIA operator objective into your personal roster. This is another roster-based co-op shooter. Each operator has a unique skill and progression path. There's a lot to play for here. The kick is, if your operator comes back injured, you have to use someone else while they heal, and if they don't come back at all, you have to go and extract them. This is a really cool system because it forces diversity and ups the stakes. I found myself using a different operator every match just to make sure I had decent gear for a variety of extraction missions. This is all great, until you realise that the game is just boring. Rainbow Six Extraction is the blandest game I've played in a while. Everything done here is serviceably done. The gunplay, dialogue and overall gameplay is fine, but that's where it stops. Matches aren't very dynamic from one another, and throughout my playtime I cannot remember a truly standout moment. There's nothing wrong with a slow game, but everything here feels so uninspired. The game is borderline too easy if you maintain stealth with your team, but the difficulty spikes the second you get spotted. There's a massive disconnect. Gunplay is bland, not a single gun here feels fun to fire. Each one lacks the oomph of a satisfying firearm, and when shooting is the crux of your game, that's a problem. Overall, there's just nothing remarkable here. I've seen everything done here done better somewhere else. The tactical element is a cool spin, but it's just not enough to save the game. The whole time I wished I was playing Outbreak instead. Rainbow Six Extraction isn't starting out great with a 2 out of 5 for gameplay. Art direction keeps in theme by being bland. An alien parasite infested Earth has so much potential to be cool, and yet this looks like a mobile game at best. There is some good stuff to talk about. Art direction in ties to gameplay is actually very good. The environment is a vastly different colour to the enemies, and the objectives are a bold yellow that helps to tell everything apart. Each level can get very dark, and the game does a lot to make information easily legible to the player. I was never unsure what I was looking at, or what was happening in the match. Past that, it's all downhill. A lot of assets are pulled from Rainbow Six Siege here, but all of them look much cheaper. The alien parasite is nothing more than black sludge, with red nests sprinkled throughout. And as I said in regards to the gameplay, some enemies are difficult to tell apart in a firefight. Character models look like they're missing a final detail polish, and the whole game just feels early access. It's all just painfully average. Music follows the trend. Each track blends into the background so much that it's hard to tell if they're even there. No amount of clear indication can save Rainbow Six Extraction from getting a 2 out of 5 for its art direction. The standard narrative here is nothing more than a service to gameplay. The Outbreak scene in Rainbow Six Siege has morphed into something more suited to Earth, and formed the Archæans. Rainbow has formed the React division, and sends in operators to learn about the spread. That is about it. There are logs that you can find for some additional lore, but none of it is really integrated into the story. This is, however, the kind of game where emergent narrative is much more prevalent than structured narrative. The MIA system is a great stride in emergent narrative. I love that if I can't save a teammate, then an extra objective gets thrown into the mix. Extracting teammates leads to some solid emergent narrative where I have to fall back and work as a smaller team to get our downed guy to safety before proceeding. This is where the unique emergent narrative ends for the most part though. Most matches have a progression of stealthy infill to action-filled objectives to exfil. There is never a wrench thrown in the works, never a moment where a teammate clutches a mission. It's the same thing. Every time. The game is painfully average in both gameplay and art direction, and narrative is no different. It pushes no bounds, and the one saving grace in emergent gameplay is not enough to make the experience worth it. Narrative rounds out with another 2 out of 5. Despite a lack of uniqueness, everything here is polished. I encountered no bugs during my playtime, and the game does feel competently made from a technical standpoint. The game has lots of options for you out of the gate, and there are new operators, weapons, and zones to unlock. The grind can be a bit daunting, however. Also, whoever put together these settings deserves a raise. There is so much here in regards to tweaks and accessibility that I am floored. General settings are focused around crossplay and chat settings. There are separate options for menu plus subtitle and spoken language options, so you can play subbed Japanese extraction if you so desire. There is also a toggle for crossplay. You can decide who is muted by default, if voice chat is on or off, and adjust levels for voice record level, voice volume, recording threshold, and chat entry sound volume. There are also options to toggle text to speech and speech to text chat. Controls is full of quality of life options. You can set your drone view preference, tech deployment controls, and chat wheel controls. Stick sensitivity can be tweaked separately by axis, and dead zones have individual sliders. You can invert your controller look, switch aim between toggle or hold, and enable or disable aim assist. MIA interact controls can be tweaked, and you can toggle vibration on top of choosing your preferred camera turn curve. Controls can be completely remapped, and ADS sensitivity can be tweaked by zoom level. Interface is filled to the brim with accessibility options. You can enable or disable HUD loadout buttons, score ticker, and ping crosshair. HUD text size can also be set to a larger size if desired. Subtitles can be toggled and have options for size, colour, and background opacity. This is a theme that is carried throughout these settings. You can choose your menu narration language. Chat can be toggled and has options for text size and volume. There is an option to toggle audio pointers to let you know what's happening in game. Custom scopes have a full colour slider for rectical, and you can choose opacity. This is really cool. There are colorblind presets, or if those don't suit you, you can just change the interface colors to whatever you please with sliders. Bravo Ubisoft, you did one thing really right here. And then you ruin it by giving video settings a brightness slider and nothing else. Finally, audio has your usual sliders, master, music, and dialogue, alongside dynamic range presets and a toggle for enemy detection audio. On a technical level, you are getting a solid package here. There's lots of content and even more tweaks, and the accessibility options present here are second to none. I can easily give the specs on offer here a 5 out of 5. The respect for your time and money present here is a mixed bag. As usual, let's start with hard drive footprint. On our system, Rainbow Six Extraction was demanding a pretty hefty 47 gigabytes. If you're on Series S, this is 1/6 of your storage capacity. That is a big space commitment. Gameplay sessions max out at around 30 minutes, so you can fit matches into a day with ease, or build up longer play sessions. There is a lot of content to unlock here, but leveling up felt slow, and there is so much to unlock here that I feel the game could easily devolve into a grind instead of fun for many players. The game does a good job of forcing you to diversify progression, which does keep the game dynamic, but on the flip side, it can feel like the game is pulling you away from playing how you want to. The store is purely cosmetic, and is priced a little cheaper than competitors. Operator skins are around £8 compared to the usual 15. This is a step in the right direction, but I still think that all of these free-to-play stores are too expensive. There are some unlockable cosmetics for free though. Overall, the game is easy to get into, and play sessions offer a lot of room to be varied. There is plenty to unlock, but the grind might just be too much, and a big hard drive footprint round out the commitment scale to a 3 out of 5. If you are after a more tactical co-op shooter, Rainbow Six Extraction might be worth your time. I can't really recommend it beyond that, however. There are plenty of co-op shooters out there that have much more personality and merit. Rainbow Six Extraction feels like it was made in a factory. There is nothing unique here, and nothing to make it stand out. The game works, and has some interesting ideas, but there is no commitment to those ideas, and Ubisoft seems to have washed their hands of this game before it was even released. I suggest you do the same, and look for something that was made with some love.